Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have a balanced rack, no duplicates, but also no bingo with the W and the X. Phew, I thought opponent was starting with a bingo, but just a six-letter play. Now I'm looking to play off the W and the X. They're my non-bingo-y tiles. And I can do that here for only 22 points, not very much. Is there anything else on offer? Well, there's locks for 26, but that retains the W. The remaining tiles are pretty bingo-y, so I would like to get rid of the W and the X. So I think all that remains would be a play in column 5 through the A. Not seeing one. I'm going with this. Wow, what a pickup. Absolutely fantastic. I am surely bingoing now. I've just taken out the 7-letter lane for bingos ending in S, but this rack is so good. I surely do have bingos playable. I'm immediately drawn to column 5, a double-double through the A. Do I have one? Well, opponent's played Vogue, so that remains available. And he's created a 7-letter lane ending in S. But let me first of all turn my attention to this A. So this rack plus an A. Well, that's D hiss, just as a 7. This rack plus an A. Not seen anything so far. Wow, that looks close. That's chemise, so that's actually quite a nice play because it plays in column 11, doesn't open up row A, so that's in my back pocket, but I'm still looking for a bingo with this rack plus an A. Again, this looks promising, but nothing has come to mind. That would be cheesier through an E. Gosh, I'm sure. Hickatees. Yes, fantastic. I'm going to stop looking because I've spent a while. And anything better is going to be marginally so. Hickatees for 98. Bang! And this is a pretty good pickup. A similar rack to my opening one. It's balanced, no duplicates, but no bingo. However, I'm glad to see it because there's a lot of scoring potential on this rack with the Z. And I can sort the rack out with Azuri. And that plays at the moment in row F. And that's quite nice because opponent can't easily score off the Z, only a vertical play. And that remains available. Plus, I'm not opening up column 15. Tiz is good. Wow. So do I have any AZ plays? Wow, what a shame. I don't think I do. No, I don't. And AHE, not good. Gosh. Okay, so I have Azuri. An alternative would be to play Yez. Keeping ANRU. Let me see what this scores. That's 32. Quite a nice rack leave. And that's 39. 7 more points. Those moves are going to be close. In which case I prefer the play with the better rack leave, but is there anything better than either? I don't think so. I'm going with Azuri for 32. Pretty good. That looks close to a bingo, despite the duplicates. Close to add a 9. I would need a D to be an E for that. Now, quite a few useful floaters on the board. My lead only 70 points. And Yes would have closed the board down, but my play of Azuri has stuck an R into the open, and there's an E and an S with Hecate, so will this be a move I live to regret? Now, back to my bingo hunt. Do I have a bingo with this rack plus an R? No, I don't think so. How about an S? No. Great, just 28 for opponent. And how about an E? Well, add a 9, but that doesn't take an E. And the U is available, and I have an N. But I'm not seeing anything. So, what to do here? No scoring tiles on my rack. Do I stop looking for a bingo? I think I probably do. 15 minutes on my clock and my lead just 40 points. So what do I want to do with this rack? Certainly sort out the duplicates, but if I play off just D and N, I've got a vowel heavy rack leave. Now I can start to do something about these useful floaters. Nid for 14, pretty tragic. Nid for 22, much better, quite a nice rack leave, which goes well with the floating R and S. So I'm attracted to this. In fact, I am going with it. Pretty good. I have Serenid with the S, Randia and Drainer as a 7. Not sure if either of those plays. Now, do I have something on the right-hand side of the board? Should Serenid be blocked? Not seeing anything beginning UN. 3R play, unlikely. How about the Y? Well, they usually feature at the beginning or end of bingos. What about the M? It would need to be in precisely 4th place. No, I have Rider Man. Sorry, I have Man Rider, but that doesn't play. So at the moment, it's just Serenid, and that could easily be blocked. There's nowhere for my 7-letter bingo. So annoying if this does get blocked, because I have no scoring tiles, so whatever I score is likely to be significantly less than what I could have got with my bingo. But opponent may block Serenid and create a 7-letter lane. One lives in hope. Now, am I absolutely sure I don't have a 7-letter lane? I think so. X takes an I after it, but Ono only takes an S, and Wox takes nothing after it. Now, does Serenid have an anagram? Well, Drainers, and that doesn't play. What about the floating E? Well, there could be something there. Always tricky with these very high probability racks. Now, Serenid has been blocked. Opponent creates no new 7-letter lanes. But he has provided 2 new floaters in the V and the A. And, wow, close to reinvade. I would need an R to be an E. So, what about the A? What about Darane? I think that's good. Let's find out. Darane for 72. And it is fantastic. But a hugely volatile play. There's a triple lane. And there's also column 1. But if opponent doesn't triple, then it's quite nice having 2 hotspots, because one of them I will have first dibs at. Now, I don't have a bingo with this rack, and I don't have anything great in either of these spots, which is a shame. So I'm looking to play off the F for score, get rid of the T as a duplicate, or retain it and play something like Fog. But Fog does not play in column 1. 39 for opponent. He takes out the triple threat, and I lead by about 70 points. Well, I think I do need to play in column 1. And my O and E can both go in front of this D. So I could play Tef. I'm just not seeing any play which leaves a nice rack leave. And I can't see any play which gets the F doubled, which would give me a really good score. Do I really need to play here? I think so. 13 minutes on my clock. So I could play Toge. Only 24 points. Well, this is 32. It's a decent score. It's not a terrible rack leave, and it goes well with the R. I'm going with this. Wow. From an A, I would have Angstrom. No floating A available. There is a floating E, but that doesn't give me anything. What about the U? And I'm looking at vowels because I have only one. No, so I'm not seeing a bingo with this rack. I do have a 100-point lead. Board starting to tighten up, which is good. And I'm minded to continue that process. Still one blank to come. K takes an O in front, so row N is available for some bingos. And there's the floating E, and there's the URY of Azure. So my attention is drawn to the top right as being the best candidate spot to block. But I'm not seeing any great options. I don't really want to play onto the Y because it would provide access to column 15. Now double M is good, so I could play Mount. That would be quite nice. It is creating a new lane, but it's a good score. 30 points, which is half a bingo, so if you can keep hammering in 30-point plays, then opponent, when he does bingo, he's not necessarily going to be taking a lead. Now, opponent taking a while with this play, he could be about to bang a bingo down. And looking at the bingo lanes on this board, he's unlikely to provide a floating A in the right spot for my bingo. Now, Mount doesn't leave the best possible rack lead, but if I played Mungo, I'm taking a huge score sacrifice. Just looking at this Y in case I have a play through it. Not seeing one. Now, the Mattel banning 400 words of hate speech saga drags on, and we are still to see the list of words it has chosen. But what I plan to do is basically comment on the ongoing saga at the end of each video rather than at the beginning, unless there's some major announcement in that merits priority attention. That way, people who are just interested in the game can get straight into the action, and those who are also interested in Mattel's banning of hate speech can hang on at the end to hear what I have to say about that. Now, opponent does play, and it's an annoying play because it takes out my beautiful double M spot. So I need to find somewhere else to play. I'm having in mind extensions to leak, but I'm not seeing anything with this rack. So what about Gourmet? Certainly sorts the rack out. NST pretty nice, especially with all these E's and I's to come. EINST is a monster of a 5-letter set. And this isn't hugely dangerous. Opponent can't put a high-scoring tile on this double letter square, and any bingo ending ing will open access to row A. I'm going with this. And there it is. I do have E and I. But I'm not sure I have a bingo. Through an I would have Stibines. Let me consider the available floaters. So, I do have ING. That's been blocked, which is, I guess, fine since I lead. Is there anything beginning with E? I don't think so. How about beginning with R? Nope, not seeing anything. But the good thing about Stein is that if you play off tiles which retain that 5-letter set, you're going to be very close to a bingo next go. So that would require me to play off the B. Where can I do that? Well, nowhere great. Bow is good. And I can sacrifice any. There's a lot to come. And I don't need to bingo. So this is 26 points, which is pretty good. And I'm not creating anything. I am going with this. And I do draw another E, which is great. So I do now have a rack with 7-letter bingos. But there are no 7-letter lanes. Well, there is now. There's column 13. So I have inserts, and that's really nice because it stops one square short of row O. The only bad thing about it is that it sticks an I next to this double letter square, so opponent can put W or Y on that and score 40 or 50. Zoo does not take an S, so I don't have a row K play. What about a play beginning with R? I'm not seeing one. So, what about the anagrams of inserts? Eastrins. Well, I do need the S in third place to stop opening row O. Eastrins, inserts, cinters, strines. Definitely more than that. But anyway, I am playing inserts for 70. Wow, what a pickup. Stipula onto an S. Remaining tiles pretty bingo-y, but possibly opponent could be swamped with vowels. There do seem to be rather a large number of them. Plus, there's the non-bingo-y consonants of B, W, and Y. So if you look at the bingo-y consonants, you've got 2 Ds, N, S, T, only 5 bingo-y consonants. Now, I'm expecting opponent to either bingo or play in row H. But he can't do both. So, supposing he bingos, and he does, 75 points. So, well, my lead is still 70 points, which is pretty good. 9 tiles to come. Opponent could bingo again, but I think I may be able to survive that. Which is all by way of saying, what about playing here? Pi alpha 27. Okay, pretty good. What about a play in row O? I'm not going to be able to play my P here, or at least I haven't seen a way of doing so. Tulip doesn't play. Well, actually I can. I can play Patu, and that's nice because it takes out bingo lanes. I think this, and it's 27 points. Rack leaves okay, especially with a lot of vowels to come. So I think this does the job. W and Y could go next to the I of inserts or beside the A, but that's not going to be enough for opponent to catch me. So I have Lyatria. That's not good. What am I thinking of? possibly Talaria and Laetris. Well, I don't have either of those. But in any event, there are no bingo lanes on the board. Absolutely none. So, opponent likely to play in row H. He will be scoring and opening a bingo lane, but it's not going to be enough. I lead by 100. Yeah, he does exactly that. So, what to do about this? Actually, opponent does not have a bingo through that E, so I don't need to block it. 3 tiles in the bag. What to do here? I'm struggling to find anywhere to score. I've only got 1 point tiles, so I'm looking at scoring tiles on the board, and the whole of the top of the board is absolutely dead. The P is available, so I'm wondering if I have a play onto the R. And I don't think I do. 7 minutes on my clock. Well, what about this spot around the A? So my P could go in either spot. So I can play... What am I thinking of? Okay, the P's on the board. I was thinking about playing tap here. What about a play through the E? I'm trying to find a way of getting some value from the P. Wow, tricky position. What am I missing? The computer always manages to find something good. I'm struggling here. Well, I could do this, AIA for 14. Doesn't provide anything. I'm likely to draw an E, so I will have a decent rack. I'm going with this. Now, does opponent have a bingo through this E? I think I would survive it. Possibly not, if it began with an E, but I don't think he does. And I don't have a bingo through that either. I've drawn, I think, 3 vowels. Opponent may place his Y on one of these double letter squares. Just scanning the board in case there's a bingo lane I've overlooked, but I think that's unlikely. This board looks pretty choked. So all 1 pointers, 6 minutes on my clock. What to do? Well, not very much. I need to see what opponent plays. He's got the Y, which is good. He's got the spot next to FA and the spot next to the A of Patu. I have seen absolutely nothing with this rack. This is one of the most barren boards I've seen in terms of scoring options, but since I lead, that is okay. Yeah, opponent goes there. Now, is he going to go out? So 6 minutes on my clock. What am I going to do? If the opponent can't go out, I get two goes. So how about playing here? That's 13 points. And then I would have re-oil. Do I have a second out? Well, I don't. 5 minutes on my clock. What if I played Lote? That would leave 2 eyes, so that's not good. What if I played Lira? That would leave Lito. No, I am going to go with this. In a tournament game, I would, of course, spend more time trying to find a play which had 2 outs, and I'm particularly looking at column 7 as being a candidate alternative spot for 4 tiles. But I don't have that with this rack leaf, so I'm dependent on re-oil. And I'm now looking for a second out. This E not massively useful for opponent, and if he does play to block my out, he won't be scoring very much. Now I have Euler through this E, so I'm guaranteed to go out. Of course, that's not as impressive as spotting that before playing light, but I do now have a guaranteed out next go. Opponent goes there, but I have re-oil for 5. And the final score, 393 for my opponent, 459 for me, a winning margin of 66 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Well, fairly comfortable victory, but not a runaway victory. Opponent to go first plays Falcon. Now, I play Woks for not very much. I could have got Cox's D10 because of Falcons for 42 points, keeping IW. Should I have done that? So what I do is play Woks for 22, keeping Ices. Is Ices 20 points better than IW? Gosh, interesting. Well, IW, negative, probably -6 or 7. And Isis, pretty good. Pretty good. Probably up around 15. So I would say, yes, there is a 20-point difference in rack leaves. So I prefer my play. Opponent's rack plays Vogue. And now I have a ton of bingos. I saw Hicketys. And I missed Cheapies, which I came to before Hicketys in the alphabet. So I missed Cheapies, but found the only remaining double-double. And a ton of other bingos available. Opponent's rack plays Cat. And now, Azri for 51. I didn't get that much. J4. Oh, wow, look at that. Azuri coming down here. And I was looking at this lane, but for Yez, but Azuri played, and I think this is coming back to this point I've made in a previous video, that ZE is not an absolute automatic spot in my mind. I'm not completely blind to it, but I do overlook it on occasion because it's a fairly new addition to the word list compared to the amount of time I've been playing Scrabble. So I play the same word as the best play, but for nearly 20 fewer points. And I'm creating bingo lanes, so that was definitely suboptimal. Opponent's rack plays Moz. Phew, no missed bingo here. I play Nid for 22, and I could have got 10 more points, but Nid keeps Dean. So is Dean 10 points better than IN? Probably not. IN is good, probably worth 3 or 4. Dean, also good, maybe worth 10, so maybe a 6-point difference, but not a 10-point difference. Opponent's rack plays Vance, and Derain is the only bingo, so delighted to have spotted that. Opponent's rack plays Leak for 39. Now I have Tef for 32. So I have a 100-point lead. Opponent's rack plays Jog. And now this was a rack I struggled with, but I played Gormy, and I think that's fine. But opponent short on vowels plays Poe. Wow, there were a couple of extensions to Leak, Leakiest and Leakiness. And I play B for 26, and I like my play. B keeps Snits. So Is Snits 10 points better than BNS? I would say it is. Just BNS is okay, probably worth 4 or 5, but Snits, I would say maybe 15. Goes very well with any vowel. So yeah, could be a 10-point difference there. Opponent's rack. Wow! Missed bingo, out duel because of OK. Plays Ulu, which gifts me a bingo which I wouldn't otherwise have. Easterns and inserts. Wow. Talk about a pebble having a ripple effect. Well, that missed bingo certainly did. Now, I lead by 150. Opponent on turn. Great rack. And he bingos with Orbited. So my lead now 70. But it's not really a danger because I am sufficiently far ahead. And I play Patu for 27. Opponent's rack, no bingo, plays wide. And now 3 tiles in the bag. I play Aya. Opponent does not have a bingo, plays Yi. Interesting, I could have played Euler first and kept tie, which would have played up here and possibly somewhere else, possibly not. Anyway, I play light. Opponent does not have an out, and I do have a solitary out. So that was the end of the game. So great fun, pretty close at times, and a good comeback by opponent towards the end, but I hung on for the win, and every Scrabble board is different, and this one I think was particularly noticeable for the real shortage of playing options towards the end of the game. Anyway, many thanks to my opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time. Now, one of the consequences of the Wesper decision to stay with Mattel and thereby go along with Mattel's expurgation of 400 words of hate speech is that a number of senior figures within Wesper have resigned from Wesper, and that includes the 2 most senior people on the dictionary committee and one of the founding members of the Wesper organisation. And they've both written resignation letters which explain the reasons for their resignation, and these letters have been posted on Facebook, so I thought to keep you in the loop of what's happening and the human cost of what's happening, and also the reasons why people feel strongly about this issue, I will leave you with the 3 resignation letters.